Welcome to Lesson 13 in my series on Gabriel Music Notation. And this is a very basic course. And what we will learn are the fingerings and a few of the tremendous advantages that Gabriel Music Notation has over traditional notation. And we will be looking at two different scales, the last two scales that we are covering. And that would be G sharp or G major, which has one sharp, and that is F sharp. And of course, with Gabriel, you can see right away which key is sharped because it is a black key, just like the black keys on a piano. And the other scale we will be looking at is the A flat major scale. And of course, once again, you will see that you can easily distinguish the black keys from the white keys because they are black and white on the paper. The notation shows which are black keys and which are white keys. And you'll notice that the clefs are analogous. That means that they are the same in the treble clef and in the bass clef, the same locations. In fact, with Gabriel notation, you only learn 12 different note and staff conjunctions. You don't have to learn 15 different key signatures with up to 4, 5, and 6, and sometimes even 7 sharps and flats. Let's get started. The G major scale in traditional notation is very popular with composers, not because it sounds better or because it's easier to play, but because it is easier to read. In other words, there's only one of the white keys that is modified by an accidental, in other words, a sharp sign. In other words, the F is actually the black key above F, and that's why it needs an accidental. Of course, in Gabriel notation, you don't need an accidental because the color, size, shape of the note itself indicates that this is the black key above F. Please notice that in Gabriel notation, the intervals are all correct, as I have said many times on these programs. In other words, there's a whole step between these three notes, between the first two notes, and there's only a half step between B and C, and that's obvious in the positioning of the notes. And of course, there's 3 whole steps between these 3 notes and a half step between the last note of the scale and the octave note. So let's go over the fingering for you beginners for the G major scale. And we start with G with a thumb, 1, 2, 3, and then thumb under, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And coming back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And in the bass scale, you start with the little finger, number 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And going back down, the same 1, 2, 3, thumb under, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now let's look at the last scale in these series that we have been showing in these lessons, and that would be the A flat major scale. And of course, this scale is not as popular because there are 4 flats in the key signature. That means that 4 of these notes are not played the way they are shown on the staff. You must modify A, B, D, and E. You must play the black keys and below the white keys which are indicated. And of course, with Gabriel, those 4 black keys are obvious because they are differentiated by, as I say, colors, size, shape, and position. So let's go over the fingering for the A flat major scale. And because it starts with a black key, you start with your second finger, 2, 3, thumb under, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And going back down in reverse, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. So now let's look at the bass clef, starting with your third finger, 3, 2, 1, 4th finger over, 4, 3, 2, going back down. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb under, 1, 2, 3. And that concludes Lesson 13 in my series on Gabriel Music Notation. And you can find all of the scales that we have gone over on my website, thirdeaglemedia.com. Plus, you can find 96 pages of music already transcribed into Gabriel Notation. And you should, at this point in time, be able to at least pick out with one finger all of the notes in those pieces. So, best of wishes, and I hope you enjoy the easy way to read music notation.